The INFP. The INFP. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name's Michelle, and today we're going to be talking about the INFP. People have been wanting to hear about this type, and I personally love this type as it is very similar to my own and yet very different, and sometimes it's hard to tell the difference, and sometimes it's just like, how do we ever get confused because we're so vastly different even though we have the exact same cognitive functions. Today, we're going to talk about what makes the INFP so awesome. This means we're going to be talking about the strengths and the positive qualities of the INFP because everyone deserves to feel good about themselves. Now, I'm not trying to say that the INFP is better than any other type. Today, I'm just going to talk about what they are good at and what makes them awesome. So whether or not you are new to MBTI or you have been around the block with MBTI, today we're going to talk about the INFP. And if you are an INFP, I hope that you are able to feel pride in yourself and your type. And if you're not an INFP, I hope that you now can understand your friends or family or, just the type in general a little bit better. Let's go ahead and talk about INFPs. So to break down the INFP, let's start first with their cognitive stacking. INFP is more than just a combination of 4 letters. Those 4 letters are indicators of what their cognitive functional stack is. So the INFP is introverted feeling, extroverted intuition, introverted sensing, and extroverted thinking in that order. So let's go ahead and break down what all of these cognitive functions mean and how they make the INFP personality type altogether. First of all, the INFP leads with introverted feeling. Introverted feeling is a constant judgment of the world to decide how, and they use the word feel, but feel isn't a good word for it. It's a decision of, do they like that? Do they dislike that? Do they want more of that? Do they want less of that? Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? These judgments are constantly being made on anything new that comes in. So the INFP is quickly able to decipher if something's good or bad, if they like it or do not like it. So one example that I thought would be really potent for this concept is the idea of somebody who kills somebody else. So say somebody has, for whatever reason, murdered someone else. Many people might say immediately murder is bad. So therefore this person is bad for making the murder happen. But an INFP is going to take a little bit more time to determine if this person is bad. They're going to want to know what circumstances led this person to committing this crime. Why did they murder? And it would be the reasoning why that would help the INFP make a judgment call as to whether or not that was the right decision and whether or not that was a good or bad decision. They're not a type who's going to immediately say that one action is good or bad no matter what. The thing about introverted feeling is it is circumstantial. It all depends on the context in which the action or the moral action is taking place. Many people say that FI or introverted feeling is all about making moral judgments, and in a lot of senses that's accurate. But it's not that they're necessarily making these moral judgments, it's that they have guttural reactions to different things. And they constantly are trying to understand if their feelings about whatever's happening are realistic, are accurate, are good, bad. They're trying to understand these feelings constantly. And when I say feelings, I'm not talking about emotions. I'm talking about internal cognitive reactions. I made a whole video about how to develop introverted feeling, which I will link up there. If you're interested in learning about how introverted feeling works, that video could be really beneficial to you. But alas, the INFP leads with this cognitive function, so they're constantly trying to understand how they feel about things, what's good, what's bad, and they're constantly questioning their understanding because of their second cognitive function, which is extroverted intuition. Extroverted intuition, many people say possibilities, new, constant gathering of ideas. This is the INFP's playground. They love new. They love new ideas. They love new concepts. They love gathering new ways of looking at things. Much like the INTP, they're constantly trying to broaden their understanding of the world and understanding of things. Many INFPs have a philosophizing type of way of being. Many INFPs are very philosophical because they want to understand these feelings that they have and connect them to the ideas externally. And they want to understand the way that people are motivated. They want to understand the motivations of people outside of themselves, and they don't want to make instantaneous judgments because it's maybe not something that they would do. Many people are quick to say, I wouldn't do that, so why would you? But an INFP is very unlikely to make this kind of judgment. They want to understand your motivations prior to making judgments. Now, they're going to have an immediate guttural reaction, like with the murder example earlier. They're gonna feel bad about the murder in general. Nobody likes murder, and an INFP is no exclusion. But before they make a permanent judgment call, they're gonna wanna understand why the person murdered. That's where extroverted intuition comes into play. They wanna gather the understanding. They wanna find these new ideas. They're also interested in creating new ideas. They want to take these feelings that they have about the morality of the world or about whatever it is, and they want to create new ideas. They find a lot of joy from creating these new ideas and concepts and sharing them with the world. Now, because they're more introverted, they're not as likely to bring these up all the time, but if you get close to an INFP, they are never going to stop talking about their ideas. These ideas are constantly being generated, but they don't want to share an idea unless they feel 100% certain that it's a good idea. They're much less likely than, say, an ENFP to constantly share these new ideas. Next, they have introverted sensing. So introverted sensing likes to contextualize everything, contextualize these new ideas, these feelings, everything. They want to put it into an understanding of framework. So you're going to find that a lot of INFPs really like to put everything into a placement, into a relation to something else. So this one instance happens in relation to another, which made them feel a specific way. Both situations made them feel similarly, so they're connected, even if the two situations might be completely different. They do this constantly, and they like being able to bring these things up. The third cognitive function is much like a child. It's much like a showboat. They like to show it off. So INFPs love to show off their knowledge, their understanding, etc. Then they have extroverted thinking. This is their more weak function, but it still really affects the way that they are. Extroverted thinking is the cognitive function that helps us determine if a system works or not, if something is doing what it's intended to do or not. Because an INFP leads with introverted feeling, they kind of neglect the extroverted thinking. However, when it does come out, it is firm and clear about what it thinks is going to work and what it thinks isn't going to work. And it's blunt and direct. There is not much hiding of what they want to say. The INFP, because extroverted thinking is their weaker function, might not be the best at making sure things get done correctly or well, but they do feel some sort of validation when they do. They do feel really good if they're able to help others make things happen. A lot of INFPs like to counsel their friends because they have all these understandings of the ways that different people are motivated, and they can use that information to share with their friends and help their friends figure things out. And they like to share these conclusions and help solve problems for other people. They can see all the different motivations, and they want to be able to make something work, and they do try. Extroverted thinking also wants to organize and make things fit together and be right. And INFPs, at least in my experience, tend to have really specific things that they do this for. Really specific things that they will organize perfectly and have maybe in some kind of organized chaos, but to them it is completely sensical and everything is to minimize waste. And for example, they might have a messy room, but their bookshelf is organized perfectly by genre and author and etc. They have certain things that they tend to be very particular about when it comes to organization, while many other things will fall to the wayside. Because extroverted thinking is not their main function, they're not the best at it, but they do like it and they do want it to be good. INFPs are very interesting. They really like to understand their internal motivations, their reasons for why they do things, as well as understanding the reasons of other people. They do immediately make those moral judgments on whether or not they agree or disagree with what's happening, but they will almost always take the time to understand where someone else is coming from. They're very unlikely to budge on maybe their moral feelings once they've come to a conclusion about it, but with new information that's strong enough, they will change their mind. The INFP personality type is a really great one, and I really hope that this video helped illuminate some of the strengths that the INFP has. And if you are an INFP, I hope that now you feel proud of these things about yourself. If you feel like I got anything wrong or have anything you'd like to add, please feel free to do so in the comments. That's what they're there for. I really hope that if you're watching this video and not an INFP, you read through the comments to understand even more about them. The comments are there to be a community, so I'd really like you guys to use that to talk to one another and really understand one another. If you're not an INFP and maybe know someone that is, go ahead and write down in the comments what you like about them if I did not say that in this video. And overall, if you like this video, want to see more of my content, go ahead and like and subscribe. I do videos about writing and I do videos about personality. You don't have to watch them all, but if you like me, go ahead and subscribe so you can see more of my videos, and I really hope that you have a beautiful, amazing, fantastic day. Bye! INFP.